Assalamualaikum. I am Maria Raza from APS 7 Streams to initiate with the majestic name of Allah Almighty, the most merciful, the omnipotent. I commence the lesson by sharing of objectives. At the end of today's lesson, dear learners will be able to understand the causes of War of Independence and discern the background and purpose of Acts 1861 and 1892. In today's lesson, we are going to discuss about the arrival of British in subcontinent, causes of War of Independence, Government of India Act 1858, Indian Council Act of 1861 and 1892. The first topic is arrival of British in subcontinent. What were the reasons that made British enter the subcontinent? The first one was the spice trade. They entered India for the sake of trading in spice items. Second important reason was breaking the monopoly of other European colonialist power. Who were they? They were Dutch, they were French, and the most prior of all, Portuguese. In 1600, some British just established a company by the name of English East India Company for the purpose of trading in India, got permission from Britain's Parliament in 1600. In 1608, their ship, it means the first ship of English East India Company, landed in Surat. Surat nowadays, currently it is called Gujarat. That ship finally got permission from the Mughal Emperor Jahangir in 1612. After entering in India, the most prudent thing for them was the establishment of trading posts. Like in 1640, a trading post was established in Madras. In 1664, Bombay was another place with a trading post. Finally, in 1690, the British, English East India Company, established its trading post in Calcutta. Now, this is the point where the mind asks this question curiously, that English East India Company started its journey from as a trading unit. How this is linked with the War of Independence? Okay, let us go ahead. English East India Company entered subcontinent as a trading unit. Within some decades, it proved itself as a great military and political power. What were the reasons that instigated the locals to go for war? And the repercussion was the War of Independence 1857. Some causes were there, like political, economic, religious, and military. The first one was political causes of war. In political causes of war, we will start with annexation policy. Annexation means joining policy. The lands were kept joined as British dominion, as a land of British. In 1818, British got power over Deccan and greater part of North India. In 1843, Sindh was annexed. 1846, Kashmir was annexed and later on it was sold out by British. In 1849, Punjab was at the threshold of annexation, and finally it was annexed in the same year. It means linked with annexation policy, Lord Dalhousie, who was the Governor General those days, he just implemented one law. He introduced one law by the name of Doctrine of Leaves. Simply we can say that this Doctrine of Leaves is a land grabbing law was there. That all those Indians who were having no son, no heir, no successor, their land would automatically be the belonging of British Empire. Like I want to exemplify here Jhansi, which was annexed by British under the Doctrine of Leaves in 1853, and same is the case what was there in 1856. Number two, economic causes. In economic causes, number one, the first part is new agrarian policy. Agrarian is linked with the term agriculture. What this policy was, according to this policy, the Indians were supposed to show the documentary proof of their holdings of the lands which they were having. In case of the documentary proof, rental system was there, and British imposed higher taxes on the land of local Indians. Number two, destruction of local industry. How local industry was destroyed by British? Because within some years after their arrival, British started importing their products from Britain in India. The price was less, demand of locals, demand of Indians increased for the imported products. Their demand for the local products decreased. Finally, the industries that were making the local products, it started reducing the production. Production decreased. Number of employers, number of employees required, it was less. Finally, shutdown of industry was there, and the pathetic picture was the unemployment. The last one of economic causes, we can say subsidiary alliance was there. Subsidiary has been taken from the word subsidy. Subsidy means paying someone, giving money. Alliance means joining. Here, the story started in a way that British made the rulers realized, the local rulers realized that the rulers of the other princely states, they were sword of Damocles, danger for the rulers. Therefore, they just offered their army as well, that we can hire our army, in return you have to pay to them. So twofold process is there, that British is taking money from the local rulers, it means boost up of British economy. Local rulers are paying their money, so it means decline of local economy. And for the sake of knowledge, kindly just jot down something, that Hyderabad was the first princely state who accepted this subsidiary alliance. And whereas Tipu Sultan of Mysore, he was the person who refused to obey this alliance, and finally he was just killed by the British. So it means in any way, either to agree or to die, this was the rule of this alliance. The third one was the religious causes. In religious causes, propagation of Christianity was there. Christianity was promoted, and the main point was the school. And Macaulay's educational reform just made English the most compulsory language. And other local or Indian languages were replaced by English. The last 2 points, abolition of sati. It was introduced by Lord William Bentinck, and Lord Dalhousie just passed the Hindu widow remarriage bill. Now, I'm not going in the depth of this topic. I'm not discussing that either these laws introduced by Lord William Bentinck and Lord Dalhousie, were they something good or bad? This is another topic. But these 2 laws just disturbed the Hindus because it was trade for their religion. Okay, the next is, the last cause is military cause. In military cause, the foremost was disparity in services. There was great difference in services. Services in which way? Difference in the salary, difference in the retirement age. Like the retirement age for the local Indians, it was 55 years, whereas it was 70 years for the British. And the second point, cartridge incident was there. This was the most immediate cause of the start of the War of Independence 1857. Like Enfield rifle was there, a cartridge that was supposed to be used in that rifle. It was rumored that that cartridge was made with the fate of pig and cow. As we all are aware of this point, that pig is something unlawful for Muslims, and cow is sacred, the holy thing for Hindus. So they refused to use. Mangal Pandey refused. Mangal Pandey being the soldier, he refused to use this cartridge. English, like British, they announced that for the sake of refusal, 10 years imprisonment was there. After the insistence of his British master, his English master, Mangal Pandey shot down his master. This was the crucial point where it took the shape of rebellion. Rebellion started in Delhi, in Meerut, in Kanpur, in some other areas like Jhansi, Bihar was there, Lucknow was there. And this phases, like I have taken the name of Meerut, Delhi, Kanpur, Jhansi, NWFP, some areas of Punjab, Bihar was there, Lucknow was there. The rebellion in these areas, we can give it the name of War of Independence 1857, which started in January 1857 and ended in 1858 with the proclamation of Government of India Act 1858 by the Queen. Queen just announced that onwards, it means from 1858, complete India will be under the viceroy system. Like onwards, viceroy will just implement the rules, will convey the message of British Parliament to Indians. And for your knowledge, let me share this point that from 1858 till 1947, total 20 viceroys came in India. And this act just put an end to doctrine of slaves. And it promised the equal treatment to Indians in order to boost up their courage. Okay. Indian Council Act of 1861 was there. In the background, we can mention this point that those days when War of Independence was going on, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was working with British as Sadr Amin in Bijnor, a place in India. Bijnor was the place. He was working with British. He realized that British was blaming Muslims for the start of War of Independence. In order to clarify the situation, he wrote down a pamphlet by the name of Asbab-e-Baghawat-e-Hind. In English, we can say Causes of Indian Mutiny, in which he said that one of the crucial points that was one of the complaints of Indians, both Muslims and Hindus, was their absence in the administrative affairs of India. So this was advised by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan to the British to involve Indians as well in your administration. And this law was enforced on 1st August 1861. Features were there that increase in the number of members of Imperial Legislative Council, which should not be less than 6 and should not be more than 12. And such members would be nominated by Governor General, and such members would not be having the right to criticize the actions of council. Food for thought is there for you, dear learners. Which Muslim leader was selected as a member of Indian Council Act of 1861? Kindly just write down this answer as a part of homework portion. The last one is Indian Council Act of 1892. In the background, in 1885, Indian National Congress was established, which demanded the involvement of more Indian members, more local members in the administration. So this was the new act promulgated by British. The features were increase in the number of non-official members in central and in both the center and provincial lawmaking bodies. Number 2, opportunity was provided to the locals, to the non-officials, to discuss each year's annual financial statement. They could be given the right of asking questions about budget, domestic matters, and public interest, but only with the prior permission of the Governor General. Okay, in order to get the feedback, homework is there. Question number 1. What were the outcomes of subsidiary alliance and doctrine of slaves for the Indians? Question number 2. Explain the purpose of the Indian Council Acts of 1861 and 1892. How were this put into effect? I appreciate your queries. Best of luck. Thank you.